Welcome back to Hindsight, and oh boy, do we have a great episode for you this week. I'm here joined by
Sharon.
Hi, I'm Taylor.
I'm Taylor.
Hi, how are you? This is a interview about forgotten history of events, and I just wanted to ask you if you knew anything about the NAACP.
I've heard about it.
Yes. Do you know anything about it, like specifically?
Not specifically.
Alright. Well, it was founded by W.E. Du Bois back in 1909. It was for the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. And so, because back then, it was racist and blacks did not have equal opportunity, so this was an organization trying to help African Americans better themselves in U.S. society. Right. So, our next question would be, do you know anything about the invention of the telegram or telegraph?
Oh, the telegraph.
No? Okay.
Not the invention of it, no.
Alright. Well, do you know who it was invented by?
No.
It was invented by like a bunch of different people, but the main guy that's like targeted for it would be Samuel Morse in 1837. He did a public like showing of it. It was to send like messages to each other. Like he sent one from Washington D.C. to Baltimore, and it helps U.S. society because it was easier to communicate across the nation and stuff like that. Okay, do you know anything about Bikini Island?
No.
Okay, Bikini Island was where it's in the Micronesian Islands, Pacific Oceans, and it's where the U.S. tested atomic bombs. And so they saw after a couple years of testing, they saw that it was major radiation poisoning, and so like the land died, people got sick, and they saw that there were major side effects to what happened, and so they started to hesitate using nuclear weapons. Yeah. Okay. Do you know anything about the death of the buffalo?
The death of the buffalo?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. So it was basically Native Americans used the buffalo as like a main source of food and like clothing, and so. But American white settlers would go off and kill them for nothing and leave their bodies there for nothing, destroying that the Native American way of life. And in 1845, it completely just destroyed the population, and it forced Indians to relocate to places that they don't know about. So populations decreased in the 19th century. Do you know anything about the Spanish control of the Mississippi? Hernando de Soto was the Spanish claim to Mississippi in 1541. The Spanish claim affected trade of U.S. goods in the years to come during colonialization and expansion to trade. Without control of the Mississippi, U.S. could not trade into the Gulf of Mexico. It was a major trade issue because they were in American soil, and their land basically. And so do you know anything else about the Halfway Covenant?
No.
Alright. It was a form of partial church membership created by New England, promoted by Reverend Tyler Aft, and with people drifting away from religion. So it was a way to try to tie people back into religion. And with a diminishing church population, religion was failing by loosening membership requirements that people didn't fall under. So basically people who weren't eligible to be into the church were being allowed into because there was not enough people, so they needed some people. Did you even know that President Garfield was assassinated?
Yes, I did.
He was shot July 2nd and died. Well, died September 19th. Do you know what his assassination led to?
No.
It led to the civil service reform, which was death essential to passing of penalty service and competitive exams versus association of political parties. Welcome back to Hindsight. I'm your host, Taylor Scavington. I'm here with Sharon.
Howdy.
Hi. Okay. Friendly.
Oh.
Okay. So, we're back. Do you know anything about Kent State?
No.
The Kent State shootings? Would that be more specific?
No.
Alright. Well, it was the shootings on May 4th, 1970. The Ohio National Guard fired into a bunch of random, of civilians protesting the Vietnam War. They felt that it was dumb and unfair, and so they fired into it random, just civilians. And so it kind of affects America because we're turning on our own now. We were already protesting, and this is supposed to be civil liberties, and we're allowed to be able to congregate and be able to voice our opinions. And now we're getting shot and for what we believe in. And they said it was kind of violent, a violent protest, but there were never any real hard evidence that the protesters were violent or stuff like that. Hey, Sharon, do you know anything about Seward Folly?
No.
That was when William Seward Folly, who was the U.S. Secretary of State, was doing open negotiations with Russia about purchasing the territory now known as Alaska. And in April 9th, 1867, it was purchased, and 6 months later it became a U.S. territory. And so Alaska was a very good purchase for the U.S. because it's rich in natural resources like timber, oil, and then in 1898 there was a gold rush, and so that led to the population of Alaska, which now is a state. And we're back. I'm your host, Taylor Skevington. I'm here with Sharon for our final event of the night. Do you know anything about the Panama Canal? Well, it was during Theodore Roosevelt's term. He convinced the Panamanians to revolt against Colombia, who was their territory, it was theirs. And so they revolted, and then they built the canal, which connected the eastern and western oceans for more trade, and so it made communications between the eastern and western trade much easier, much better. That's our show. This is Hindsight. I'm your host, Taylor Skevington, here with Sharon. Good night. And welcome back to Hindsight. I am your host, Taylor.
Sharon.
Crap, redo it.
You just said it's down south.
Yeah, that's the location. And we're back. I'm your host, Taylor Skevington, here with Sharon. For our last event of the night, Sharon, do you know anything about the Panama Canal? Redo it. I'm so tired of stuttering. I swear. And the Panamanians were... Is that what you call them, Panamanians? Wow. Redone.
What is up with this scene?
Because the Panamanians didn't sound right.
Panamans?
Pandemonium is
Yeah.
What?
Pandemonium.
Yeah, that doesn't sound
Kind of
right.
between pandemonium and
Well, what do you... Pan-Am? What do you call them? What is there,
Panamanian.
Panamanian?
Panamanian.
Should we look it up?
Yeah,
We should
probably.
look it up. Welcome back. I'm your host, Taylor Skevington. I'm here with Sharon here for our last event of the night. Sharon, do you know anything about the Panama Canal?
No.
Okay, Panama Canal. I swear we didn't come up with the Panamanian thing. Taylor!
So here we have my brother's drawing thinking he was helping us. And welcome to Hindsight with your hosts, Taylor Skevington, and me, Shelby. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, wait, so we should start over.
Yeah.
Whoops, stop.
Welcome back to Hindsight, and oh boy, do we have a show for you.
We're all here to learn something we already forgot about since that age-old U.S. history class. But with how many people forget these facts and events that happened, forgetting is to be expected.
For this spectacular episode, we will be asking you what you know about each event, and then you will answer the question to the best of your ability.
For our first forgotten event, we will be asking this nice person My little brother.
Whose name is...
What's your name?
Jaden.
What he knows about the founding of the NAACP, or better known as the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. So what do you know?
I've never been. Can you start over? I never been.
Well, what do you know about this event, Jaden? Nothing?
No.
All right, well, I guess we'll fill in the gaps. Taylor?
Okay. National Association for the Advancement of Colored People was founded by W.E. Du Bois, a Frenchman, but with American. It was founded in 1909. It affected the civil rights of African American people.